I want to first start off this weekend, a long-awaited, much-anticipated, exciting moment that was on the Friday night main event. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Tyson-Paul fight, but Tyson-Paul fought. I just wanted to, I thought we should talk about that a little bit. We spoke a little bit about it beforehand. I shared with you from a person that just turned 50. It doesn't matter what you have in your mind. You think you can still in your heart have the same desire, but your body hurts and it reacts differently. And from the moment Tyson walked slowly onto the mat, he looked like an old man. And then when you saw him with his knee brace on, that was worrisome. You don't see a knee brace on a lot of young people. You don't see just the movement. Tyson in that fight, I love Tyson. It actually was kind of hard to see. Mm-hmm. It was sad. But he gave everything. He didn't want to make excuses. He was willing to stand in there. He did make it 8 rounds, and he wanted to have that moment, that flurry. He made he got a couple nice shots in at the beginning, but after that, he was a shell of himself, and I think Jake was actually being pretty nice to him. Yeah, but it was sad. It was sad to watch. I think everybody wanted to see him do something that's really unrealistic for a 58-year-old to do.
Very unrealistic for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I talked to you about this a little bit. It's just really hard to. And I don't necessarily want to call him a hero, but
yeah. Oh, he's a legend. I mean, that guy's.
Yeah, I don't know that many people should necessarily model their lives after Mike Tyson,
No.
but
No.
It is kind of hard to watch a hero of the sport,
right,
out there, and it just wasn't pretty.
No.
It wasn't pretty, and it was hard to watch in many ways.
No, and then you watch him, and there was time, I don't know, around round 5, you see when the rounds. After they take their break and they're supposed to come back into the ring, Jake Paul's waiting for him in the middle of the ring, and Tyson's like, "I'm sitting as long as I can. In fact, go ahead and start the bell. You walk over to me, then I'm gonna stand." That's when you know the guy's in trouble.
He was definitely worn out.
He didn't even move.
Yeah.
It was like he put like his shoes like in skis,
mm-hmm.
and they don't move, and he just sat there. And at the end of the fight, Jake Paul, I think, could have torn him apart. I think at the beginning, Jake, was sitting there going, "Okay, this guy, I gotta watch myself."
He definitely came out pretty nervous.
Yeah,
he came out. You could tell Jake Paul came out in a manner, at least in the first maybe 2 rounds.
Yeah,
where he's thinking, "All right, if he lands one solid one."
Yep.
I might go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was I think it was round 4, might have been 3. It was 3 or 4 where Jake finally figured out this guy's not landing a solid one.
No.
And he started to actually beat up on him pretty hard. And you saw Tyson kind of get real not looking good, like he was going to go down. And I think it was at that moment Jake realized, no, he's not going to catch one lucky one on me. And no, I shouldn't knock him out for the sport.
Well, and I was sitting there going, I was talking about this beforehand, how when you're in your 50s, you start using rails and you start doing things differently. How you get up, you have to think, okay,
mm-hmm.
don't do that wrong or your back's going to go out. But you could see he at the beginning had a little movement, but your endurance isn't the same. It just you could tell he was physically strong,
mm-hmm.
But what he just went through, what was it, 5 months ago? He said he lost, all the blood that he lost. He wasn't fully ready to do that fight. I mean, it would have been way better served to wait another 2 or 3 months, 6 months. But the problem is, in the end, he'd be 58, 59-year-old guy.
Yeah.
So he could have maybe had a little better pep in his step, but it could have led to something that would have been more dangerous, because a little more of him would have been a lot more of Jake, and it could have ended badly. And I've seen a lot of different memes of Jake and different things. I heard Drew was sharing with me that Jake Paul's next fight is against President Carter, who just turned 100. Jake's taking a beating. And I think, anyway, but they both made their money. Mike Tyson got some money for his family, which was cool for him to be able to set that up. But for the losers, I think Tyson, it's hard because that's your last memory of him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole generation that grew up with Tyson, and then their kids are watching Tyson, and it's hard to appreciate who he was
most
when
definitely.
that's the last memory. It's just
definitely.
hard. And that's always the thing. I remember Franco Harris when he came out with the Seahawks after playing with Pittsburgh, and you watch a guy and you're like, ugh, no, I just wish he could go away. They did away with it reminds me, the NBA used to, at the All-Star game, they used to have it was like the old timers game or whatever. All the retired people played. And it was, you look at these stars and it was just ugly basketball. And then they were breaking their legs, and it's just hard to watch. You want to have the good memories. And that was too bad. I respect Tyson. He's a warrior. I think he hurt his knee, and he didn't make excuses. So good for him, but hard to watch.
Yeah, the only thing harder to watch than that match was shortly before when we saw his butt cheeks live.
Oh, good night. That you can't unsee that.
No, you can't.
That was unnecessary punishment. Yeah. That was the hardest thing to watch. Except, I agree.
It was definitely one of those things where you're like, oh, I'm never gonna get rid of that memory.
No,
it somehow just became a core memory in your brain,
whether
you liked it or not.
If he'd have came out like that, he'd have had a better chance against Paul.
Probably.
All he had to do is turn around occasionally. Paul would have been blinded. And
that
boom.
cameraman knew what he was doing.
The camera went down. That went down to the full moon.
Yeah, he saw it and he said, "This is a moment the people need."
Yeah.
Did we need it?
No.
Maybe for the memes, but
yes, we did.
We will see if we can add that clip. I don't know if that is allowed or not, but viewer discretion. I recommend that you have somebody with you if you're going to watch that. No children under the age of 43 should watch that. So anyway, that was rough. That was sad to see.